The message arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning, transmitted simultaneously to every major communications facility on Earth. The aliens called themselves the Arcturian Federation, and they came with what they considered a generous offer. Submit to their rule willingly, and humanity would be granted protectorate status with minimal interference in their daily lives. Refuse and Earth would face immediate military action. Admiral Sarah Chen stood before the United Earth Council, her weathered face betraying none of the excitement she felt. While the rest of the world's leaders argued about how to respond to the ultimatum, she knew humanity's greatest secret was about to change everything. Distinguished colleagues, she addressed the emergency session. While the Arcturians believe they're dealing with a primitive species barely capable of reaching our own moon, they're about to learn how wrong they are. With a gesture, she activated the chamber's holographic display, showing detailed scans of the Arcturian fleet positioned just beyond Mars' orbit. For the past 50 years, Project Quantum Shield has been humanity's best-kept secret. We're not defenseless. We're not primitive. And we're certainly not going to submit. The council chamber erupted in murmurs as classified footage began playing, showing vast underground facilities across every continent. Within these hidden complexes lay humanity's true technological achievement, not just quantum computing or basic spaceflight, but an entire fleet of advanced warships incorporating technology that the Arcturians couldn't even comprehend. The quantum revolution had come quietly to Earth, masked behind countless shell companies and black projects. While the public saw modest advances in computing and physics, the true breakthroughs remained hidden. Quantum entanglement drives that could cross light years in days, shields that could redirect energy through dimensional folds, weapons that could target the very fabric of space-time. High above Earth, aboard the Arcturian command ship, High Commander Zextol received the humans' response with what passed for a smile among his species. The message was simple: no. These primitives show more spine than expected. He mused to his command staff. Begin the demonstration. Target their largest population center with a kinetic strike. Show them the price of defiance. The massive ship's weapons powered up, preparing to launch a tungsten rod at relativistic speeds toward Earth. The energy readings were picked up immediately by Earth's quantum detection grid, triggering automated defense protocols that had waited decades to be activated. In the depths of the Pacific Ocean, in forgotten mountain valleys, and in the heart of vast deserts, massive doors began to open. The Earth's hidden fleet was about to reveal itself. The first sign that something was wrong came when the Arcturian targeting systems suddenly failed to lock onto Earth. Then their long-range scanners detected something impossible: quantum fluctuations on a scale they'd never encountered, emanating from the planet below. Admiral Chen watched from her command center as humanity's first line of defense activated. The quantum shield grid, a network of generators that could literally fold space around the Earth, making any attack impossible to target accurately. But that was just the beginning. Launch the Prometheus fleet, she ordered, her voice steady despite the historical magnitude of the moment. Let's show our visitors what humanity is truly capable of. Across the globe, humanity's secret armada rose from its hidden bases, ships that made the Arcturian vessels look primitive by comparison, their quantum cores pulsing with enough energy to bend reality itself. They had been built in absolute secrecy, tested in the vast spaces between stars where no one would detect them, crewed by generations of soldiers and scientists who had lived double lives to maintain the deception. The Arcturian sensors detected the human ships too late. By the time High Commander Zextol ordered his fleet to battle stations, the first wave of Earth vessels had already quantum jumped directly into formation around his command ship, their advanced shields shrugging off the panicked defensive fire from his crew. This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. Her transmission cut through the Arcturians' communications. You came here expecting to find an easy conquest. Instead, you've discovered that humanity has surpassed you in ways you couldn't imagine. You have 1 hour to retreat from our solar system. If you remain, we will demonstrate exactly how advanced our quantum technology really is. In the tense hour that followed, the Arcturian command staff frantically analyzed the human vessels, their scans revealing technology that should have been impossible for such a young species to develop. The quantum signatures alone indicated a scientific understanding that surpassed their own by centuries. High Commander Zextel faced the most difficult decision of his career. The classified reports from their advanced scouts had clearly been wrong. Catastrophically wrong. They hadn't found a primitive species ready for conquest. They'd stumbled upon a civilization that had somehow leapfrogged past them, technologically, while maintaining a brilliant deception about their true capabilities. Before the hour was up, the Arcturian fleet engaged their conventional drives and began retreating from the solar system. But everyone knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity wasn't just ready to join the interstellar community. They were positioned to revolutionize it. As Admiral Chen watched the alien ships retreat, she allowed herself a small smile. Humanity had kept their quantum advances secret for decades, knowing that when they finally revealed themselves to the galaxy, they needed to do so from a position of unquestioned strength. Now that strength had been demonstrated, and the real challenge was about to begin, shepherding humanity into a new age of open interstellar relations from a position of technological superiority. The age of deception was over. The age of human ascendance had begun. The Arcturian retreat had bought Earth precious time, but Admiral Chen knew it would be measured in days, not weeks. As she strode through the gleaming corridors of Quantum Command beneath the Rocky Mountains, status reports streamed in from facilities across the globe. The hidden fleet was fully mobilized now, and with secrecy no longer necessary, humanity's true technological capabilities were finally being unveiled to its own people. Dr. Marcus Rivera, the architect of the Quantum Drive program, stood before a wall of holographic displays showing the locations of approaching Arcturian reinforcements. "They're coming in force this time," he noted, his dark eyes tracking the incoming signatures. 3 times the size of the First Fleet, and they're bringing their latest generation of warships. "They still don't understand what they're dealing with," Chen replied, studying the tactical projections. "They think this is about fleet size and conventional warfare. They haven't grasped that we've completely rewritten the rules of physics as they know them." The quantum revolution had begun 60 years earlier with a seemingly impossible discovery in an underground laboratory in Geneva. A team of physicists, led by Rivera's mentor, had found a way to manipulate quantum fields on a macroscopic scale. While the public announcement spoke vaguely of advances in quantum computing, the true breakthrough was far more profound. They had discovered how to create stable quantum fields that could alter the fundamental properties of spacetime itself. The implications were staggering. Faster than light travel, impenetrable defensive shields, weapons that could target the quantum structure of matter itself. But rather than announce these discoveries to the world and risk other powers attempting to seize or replicate the technology, Earth's leaders had made the unprecedented decision to develop everything in absolute secrecy. A shadow program was created, drawing in the brightest minds from every nation. While the public saw modest technological progress, the true advances were happening deep underground and in hidden facilities across the planet. Generations of scientists and engineers lived double lives, working on technology that would revolutionize human civilization, while maintaining an elaborate facade of normalcy. Now, as the massive Arcturian fleet approached, that deception was finally paying off. The enemy was coming with their most powerful weapons, completely unaware that humanity had rendered their entire approach to warfare obsolete. "They're launching long-range quantum scans," one of the sensor operators announced, "trying to penetrate our defensive grid." Chen nodded to Rivera. "Show them what they're really dealing with." The scientist inputted a series of commands, and across Earth's quantum shield network, specially designed countermeasures activated. The Arcturian scans weren't just blocked. They were fed false data, showing them exactly what humanity wanted them to see. "Let them think they found weaknesses in our defenses," Chen explained to her staff. "Let them think they understand our technology. The trap is set. The Arcturian response came exactly as predicted. Their massive fleet split into 3 battle groups, each targeting what they believed to be a vulnerable point in Earth's defensive grid. Their most powerful warships moved into position, charging weapons that could crack a planet's crust. And humanity let them come. The first sign that something was wrong came when the Arcturians' quantum communications suddenly failed. Then their navigation systems began showing impossible readings, as if space itself was being twisted around their ships. By the time they realized what was happening, it was too late. Earth's quantum fleet emerged from carefully calculated dimensional pockets, their advanced drives allowing them to appear literally inside the Arcturian formation. But instead of opening fire, they activated their most devastating weapon, the quantum nullification field. The effect was immediate and catastrophic for the invaders. Every piece of advanced technology on their ships simply stopped working, their quantum-based systems rendered useless by fields that locally altered the laws of physics themselves. Massive warships drifted powerless, their crews watching in horror as human vessels effortlessly maneuvered around them. This is Admiral Chen to all Arcturian vessels, her transmission cut through the chaos. What you're experiencing is just a small demonstration of our quantum control capabilities. We can shut down your ships, redirect your weapons, or tear apart the very fabric of space-time around you. But we would prefer not to. She paused, letting the message sink in. Your leaders were wrong about us. Humanity isn't some primitive species waiting to be conquered. We are your technological superiors, and we have been for decades. The only reason you didn't know this is because we chose to keep it hidden until we were ready to reveal ourselves. The response came from the Arcturian flagship, its commander's voice tight with barely controlled fury. This is impossible. No species could advance this quickly without detection. You must have stolen this technology from another civilization. Chen allowed herself a small smile. No, Commander. We developed it ourselves, in secret, because we knew that the galaxy wasn't ready for what we had discovered. We knew that more aggressive species would try to seize our technology if they discovered it too soon. So we waited, we prepared, and we let everyone believe we were less advanced than we truly were. She gestured to her tactical officer, and the quantum nullification field was temporarily lifted from the Arcturian command ship, allowing its systems to function again. Return to your territory. Tell your leaders what you have witnessed here. And understand this. Humanity is willing to share our advances peacefully to help uplift other species. But we will never submit to conquest or intimidation. As the defeated Arcturian fleet limped away from Earth for the second time, Chen turned to Rivera. They'll be back, she said quietly. Not with weapons this time, but with diplomats and scientists. They'll want to know how we did it. The scientist nodded. And that's when the real challenge begins. Teaching others to use this technology responsibly without letting it destroy the galaxy in the process. The quantum edge had given humanity its victory, but both Chen and Rivera knew that wielding such power came with enormous responsibility. The age of secrecy was over, but the age of humanity's leadership was just beginning. The Grand Assembly Hall of the Arcturian Federation buzzed with tension as representatives from 100 alien civilizations gathered for an emergency session. At the center of the chamber, holographic displays showed detailed scans of Earth's quantum technology, or at least what little their sensors had managed to capture before their humiliating defeat. Ambassador Lyra Tisson of Earth stood calmly before the assembled delegates, her diplomatic uniform stark against the ornate alien architecture. 3 months had passed since humanity had revealed its true capabilities, and the galaxy's political landscape was transforming rapidly. The choice before you is simple, Lyra addressed the assembly, her voice carrying across the vast chamber. Earth is offering to share our quantum technology with those who are willing to join us in building a more equitable galactic community. We're not seeking dominion or control, we're offering partnership. In the upper tiers of the chamber, High Commander Zextal watched with barely concealed rage. The humans' offer was causing exactly the political fracturing he had feared. Already, dozens of systems were breaking away from the Federation, drawn by the promise of quantum technology that could revolutionize their civilizations. But Zextal had plans of his own. While the diplomats talked, his agents were already in motion, seeking to steal or replicate Earth's quantum advances through any means necessary. What the humans didn't know was that they had allies within the Federation itself, older species who saw humanity's sudden rise as a threat to their own ancient power. Deep in Earth's quantum defense network, Dr. Rivera's systems detected the first sign of trouble. Subtle attempts to penetrate their security, prodding attacks that tested their defenses in ways that seemed oddly familiar. When he brought his findings to Admiral Chen, her expression darkened. These attack patterns, she studied the data carefully. They're not random. Someone with intimate knowledge of our systems is helping them. The betrayal, when it came, struck from an unexpected direction. Dr. James Morrison, one of the original quantum research team members, had been quietly feeding information to a coalition of Federation hardliners. His transmission was intercepted just minutes before a coordinated strike against Earth's quantum facilities began. The attack was precisely targeted, hitting multiple research centers simultaneously with weapons specifically designed to disrupt quantum fields. But the traitors had underestimated humanity's paranoia and its redundancies. "Activate Protocol Zero," Chen ordered as the first reports of the attack came in. Across the planet, hidden quantum generators powered up, creating overlapping fields that turned the attackers' own weapons against them. Ships that tried to penetrate Earth's defenses found themselves trapped in localized time distortions, their crews experiencing seconds while hours passed outside. In the Grand Assembly, chaos erupted as news of the attack spread. Ambassador Thyssen stood her ground as accusations flew from all sides. "This is exactly why we kept our advances secret," she declared, her voice cutting through the pandemonium. "Because some would rather steal and destroy than cooperate and grow." The next few hours proved decisive. While the Federation hardliners' attack faltered against Earth's defenses, several smaller civilizations seized the opportunity to formally align themselves with humanity. They had seen enough. The old power structure was crumbling, and Earth's offer of shared knowledge and advancement was more appealing than the Federation's increasingly desperate attempts to maintain control. Dr. Morrison was captured trying to flee Earth, his interrogation revealing the full scope of the conspiracy. Several ancient species within the Federation had banded together, terrified that humanity's quantum technology would upset thousands of years of carefully maintained power structures. "They don't understand," Morrison babbled as security forces led him away. "The quantum technology. It's not just about power or weapons. It's going to change everything. The entire way the galaxy functions. They're afraid because they know their time is ending." Admiral Chen stood with Ambassador Thyssen in Quantum Command, watching real-time updates as more systems declared their independence from the Federation. The attempted attack had backfired spectacularly, serving only to demonstrate Earth's defensive capabilities and the benefits of alliance. "They'll try again," Chen noted, studying the tactical displays. "The old guard won't give up their power easily." Thyssen nodded, her diplomatic experience lending weight to her words. "Of course they will, but every failed attempt just pushes more systems into our coalition. They're fighting the future itself, and they don't even realize it." The quantum sensors suddenly lit up with new alerts, massive fleet movements throughout Federation space. The hardliners were mobilizing everything they had, preparing for one desperate attempt to maintain their power. "Let them come," Chen said quietly, activating Earth's advanced warning systems. "We've spent decades preparing for this moment. Humanity didn't just develop quantum technology. We learned how to use it responsibly. That's what truly terrifies them." As emergency signals flashed across Earth's defense grid, the true scale of the coming conflict became clear. The galaxy was dividing itself, with humanity's quantum coalition on one side and the desperate remnants of the old order on the other. The final battle for the galaxy's future was about to begin, and Earth stood ready, its hidden strength now fully revealed to friend and foe alike. The quantum sensors rippled with warnings as the largest fleet ever assembled in galactic history emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system. 10,000 Federation warships, representing the combined might of the old guard species, formed a battle line that stretched across light minutes of space. Admiral Chen observed the tactical display from Earth's quantum command center, her expression unchanged as she studied the overwhelming forces arrayed against them. The Federation hardliners had committed everything to this final assault, determined to crush humanity's coalition before their powers slipped away entirely. "They'd brought exactly what we expected," she noted, addressing the holographic representations of Earth's alien allies. "Their entire fleet, their most powerful weapons, and their absolute conviction that superior numbers will win the day." Dr. Rivera stood at her side, monitoring the quantum field readings that surrounded Earth and its defensive platforms. "They still don't understand what they're dealing with. Even after everything they've seen, they think this is about ships and weapons." The Federation fleet launched their first attack with a precision born of millennia of warfare. Thousands of energy beams and projectiles streaked toward Earth, enough firepower to crack a planet's crust. But they never reached their target. Instead, the massive barrage simply vanished. In the Federation flagship, Supreme Commander Vexthor watched in disbelief as their initial strike disappeared into what appeared to be tears in space itself. "Impossible," he muttered, ordering his sensors to analyze what had happened. "No defensive system can simply make an attack of that magnitude disappear." But that was exactly what Earth had done. The quantum defense grid, now operating at full capacity, wasn't just blocking attacks, it was redirecting them into pocket dimensions, literally removing them from normal spacetime. It was technology so advanced that most of the Federation's scientists couldn't even comprehend the principles behind it. "Send the signal," Chen ordered, and across Earth's hidden facilities, new systems began powering up. If the Federation wanted to see humanity's true capabilities, they were about to get their wish. The space around Earth's defensive perimeter began to ripple and distort. Quantum fields manifested on a scale never before witnessed in the galaxy, warping the very fabric of reality. The Federation fleet's sensors went wild as they detected energy readings that should have been impossible. From these quantum distortions emerged humanity's secret weapon, the Phase Fleet. Ships that existed partially out of normal spacetime, capable of passing through solid matter and immune to conventional weapons. They had been held in reserve for precisely this moment, when Earth's enemies had committed all their forces to one decisive battle. The Phase Fleet moved through the Federation formation like ghosts, their quantum weapons bypassing shields and armor to strike directly at critical systems. Mighty battleships found themselves crippled by attacks they couldn't even detect, their advanced technology useless against weapons that operated on fundamentally different physical principles. "This is Admiral Chen to all Federation forces," her transmission cut through their communications. "What you're witnessing is only a fraction of what quantum technology can achieve. Your weapons cannot harm our Phase Fleet. Your shields cannot stop our attacks. And this is your last chance to surrender before we demonstrate even more advanced applications." Vexthor, watching his mighty fleet being systematically dismantled by forces he couldn't even fight, faced the most difficult decision of his long life. The Federation's intelligence had been catastrophically wrong about humanity's capabilities. They weren't just dealing with advanced quantum technology. They were facing a civilization that had fundamentally rewritten the rules of warfare itself. But pride and desperation drove him to continue the attack. The Federation fleet pressed forward, launching everything they had in a desperate bid to overwhelm Earth's defenses through sheer volume of fire. Chen nodded to Rivera. "Show them the final level." The scientist activated humanity's ultimate defensive system, the quantum cascade. Space itself began to fold and ripple around the Federation fleet as thousands of micro-singularities appeared, each one a precisely controlled tear in spacetime. Ships found themselves trapped in temporal bubbles, their crews experiencing years while seconds passed outside. Others were gently but inexorably pushed into parallel dimensions, removed from the battle entirely without destroying them. We could have annihilated your fleet. Chen's transmission reached what remained of the Federation forces. We could have used this technology to destroy your civilizations. Instead, we showed restraint. We offered partnership. And even now, we're choosing to disable rather than destroy. The battle ended not with a mighty explosion or a heroic last stand, but with a stunning demonstration of power so absolute that resistance became meaningless. The Federation fleet, or what remained of it, stood down. The mighty armada that had arrived to crush humanity instead bore witness to their complete technological superiority. As the quantum field stabilized and the phase fleet secured their victory, Chen turned to Rivera. Begin recovery operations. I want every ship we displaced returned safely to normal space. Let them see that humanity's power comes with responsibility and mercy. The galaxy watched in awe as Earth's quantum technology not only won the battle but did so while minimizing loss of life. It was a victory that would reshape galactic civilization, not through destruction, but through the demonstration of power so advanced it rendered traditional conflict obsolete. The age of the Federation was over. The quantum age had truly begun, and humanity would lead the way. 6 months after the Battle of Seoul, the gleaming spires of New Geneva rose from the Swiss countryside, humanity's first open quantum technology research center. Representatives from 100 alien species walked its halls, learning the principles that would transform their civilizations. The old Federation had dissolved, replaced by something unprecedented in galactic history, a true cooperative of species united by shared knowledge rather than force. Admiral Chen, now serving as Earth's Secretary of Galactic Affairs, stood with Dr. Rivera in the facility's central observatory, watching ships from across the galaxy arrive through quantum corridors that had made traditional space travel obsolete. Among them were even former Federation hardliners, their pride finally giving way to the recognition that cooperation offered more than resistance ever could. They're adapting faster than we expected, Rivera noted, reviewing data from the latest training sessions. Some of these species have concepts we never even considered. They're not just learning our technology. They're already finding ways to improve it. That was always the plan, Chen replied, remembering those early days of secrecy when humanity had first discovered quantum manipulation. We didn't hide our advances because we wanted to keep them to ourselves forever. We hid them until we could ensure they'd be used to unite rather than divide. The transition hadn't been entirely smooth. Some of the older species, particularly those who had held power in the Federation for millennia, struggled to accept the new reality. But Earth's approach to sharing quantum technology had been carefully calculated. Each species received access based on their demonstrated commitment to cooperation and peaceful development. In orbit above Earth, the phase fleet had been transformed into a joint peacekeeping force, crewed by mixed species teams learning to work together with humanity's advanced systems. The ships that had once defended Earth now served as mobile training centers, spreading quantum technology and its responsible use throughout the galaxy. Former Supreme Commander Vexthor, now serving as his people's representative to the Quantum Council, approached Chen and Rivera during one of the facility's open sessions. I must admit, he said, his once proud bearing now tempered by humility. When we first discovered Earth's deception, we thought you had somehow stolen this technology. We couldn't imagine that you had developed it yourselves, much less that you had the wisdom to keep it hidden until the right moment. Chen nodded, understanding the profound shift in perspective the former Federation leader had undergone. Humanity learned from its own history. We knew that introducing technology too advanced, too quickly, could devastate civilizations. We needed to be ready not just to develop quantum technology, but to help others use it responsibly. The facility's quantum sensors suddenly detected a new signal, a probe from far beyond the galaxy's edge, its energy signature unlike anything they had encountered before. Rather than panic or alarm, the discovery was met with excitement. Humanity's quantum revolution had prepared the galaxy's civilizations to face new challenges together. That's the real difference now, Rivera observed, watching scientists from a dozen species already collaborating to study the new phenomenon. We're no longer individual civilizations competing for dominance. We're a unified galactic community, ready to explore and discover together. In the years that followed, the quantum technology that humanity had guarded so carefully transformed life throughout the galaxy. Worlds once isolated by vast distances found themselves connected through quantum corridors. Energy crises were solved by zero-point quantum reactors. Medical science was revolutionized by quantum healing techniques that could cure almost any ailment. But perhaps the most profound change was in how species interacted with each other. The old hierarchies and power structures had given way to a merit-based system where cooperation and innovation were valued above military might or ancient authority. Earth, once considered a primitive backwater, had become not just a technological leader, but a philosophical one, teaching others that true power lay not in domination, but in the wisdom to use advancement for the benefit of all. As Chen prepared to retire from her position, she took one final walk through the quantum labs where it had all begun, now staffed by researchers from across the galaxy. The secret that humanity had kept for so long had blossomed into something far greater than they had ever imagined. Not just a technological revolution, but a complete transformation of galactic civilization itself. The age of quantum enlightenment had begun, and its light would shine across the stars for generations to come.